Alright, so these are the basic definitions. Just you have to know what these mean. I'm probably not going to test you ever on the exact wording, so if you have something else, just know what each of those words mean. If you look for a minute on your calendar, or look up here at my calendar, so today we have another online assignment. Next class, there will be a quiz over this last class's notes, today's notes, and there is an online assignment that day too. We didn't write it down. So, and then in the following day, there'll be the test review, and then we'll take the tests next week. All right? And if you need help, remember that this is a full tutoring schedule, so come in for help if you need it. If you're having trouble, some people are having trouble getting an online assignment done at home, and so you can always ask me for a Plus Pass if you just need to use the school computers here. Alright, so flip over to page 13. We only have one page of notes past the definitions today. Alright, so on here, can anyone tell me any adjacent complementary angles?
They just mean two of them. KJL and JL. Is that one?
So those are adjacent, KJL and MJL, is that what you said? Mm-hmm. But those would add up to 120. So complementary add up to what number? 90. So those are adjacent. But we're on adjacent complementary. So TOS. And we haven't talked about labeling angles, but they always have to have that symbol and then the three letters. So TOS and TOP.
Wait, why you didn't write mine there?
Well, because it wasn't complementary also, because this asks for adjacent complementary angles. All right, are there any others, or is that it? That's it for complementary. Okay, now we're looking for non-adjacent supplementary. What does supplementary add up to?
180.
180. So what are some that are non-adjacent and add up to 180? So TOP and POQ would be adjacent 180.
Yeah, POR is POQ. Anybody watch the games last night? Aaron Rodgers, that's a dog right there.
You know your voice is being recorded right now and going to be posted for anyone who's absent to watch. Okay, so all right, guys, focus in. So for non-adjacent, we're probably going to have to use the figures, right? So what angle measures do we need to make 180 of the options here? So TOR, POR. POR would be 180, but that's just one angle, that's straight angle, so that would be good. What we're going to look for here is how I can go across the figures and do like the LJM, which is over here, 105 degrees. And then either of my 75 degree ones over here. Those are going to be non-adjacent and still supplementary pair because it gives me the two. And then my second set would be the LJM and the QOR. So when we're just like identifying things, just watch for the words like adjacent, non-adjacent, what are we adding up to, and find the angles that add up to that. So then the next step is to find the measure of an angle. So complement adds up to what? 90, right? And so if A is a complement of B, what would our basic equation be? A plus B equals 90. So angle A plus angle B equals 90. And then I substitute in the 36 for A. So 36 plus angle B equals 90. What do I do to solve? Subtract 36. So angle B equals 54 degrees. Alright, take just a minute, see if you can set up problem 4 the same way, except supplement adds up to what?
180.
180, okay? So see if you can do that one. What equation did you get?
117 plus.
Yeah, so 117 plus angle C, or angle C plus 117 equals 180. And then when we solve it out, what does angle C equal? 63 degrees. When we're talking about angles, include the degree symbol, okay? Alright, these next two, we have the picture to go off of. What do we have in this one that lets us know an angle measure besides the x?
The box.
The box, what does that mean?
90.
90 degrees, right? Yeah.
We were doing that first.
This is the fun part. Okay, something you might see here, I'm just writing it out, is instead of giving you a picture, they might tell you ray AD, which is this one, and ray AB are perpendicular. So in geometry, sometimes they give you like the definition, sometimes they give you the drawing, but just know that's another thing you could say. If they're perpendicular, that means you have a 90-degree angle.
Wait, are you going to do like, if you come by your classroom and get extra credit?
No, I can't do that. I'll give you a thank you if you come to my classroom tonight.
And a high five.
I'll give you a high five. I'll meet your parents. Okay, and anytime we're dealing with angles, it goes back to the same part plus part equals whole. Yes.
What is that saying right after R?
So this is the perpendicular symbol. Have you guys seen that before?
Y'all guys say like,
Okay,
what is that?
so that means perpendicular. You need to know that symbol. Should we add it to our definition page? Or is this good enough here? Okay, so it just looks like an upside down T, like a line coming up from a straight thing. Okay, so then our equation would just be add these two parts, so 10x plus 22 plus 7x plus 34 equals 90. Should we solve it together or solve it on your own? Alright. See if you can solve it faster than I solve it, okay?
But you're a teacher.
I know, I'll go slowly. That's not slowly?
No.
Okay.
It's how you learn how to do it if you won't let us do it.
I'm done.
Oh my gosh.
See? Someone beat me. Did anyone else beat me?
Yeah.
2 people beat me?
Equals 30.
34. Thank you.
You added weirdly, but you somehow fixed it. It's something really weird.
What did I do?
You spelled PAP.
I did 56. I wrote it wrong.
I was going to say, like,
See?
weird, but you also corrected it.
Alright, so am I finished?
No.
No.
Find the measure of each angle. So always, especially in geometry, go see what it's asking you for. It's often not asking you for the x, it's asking you for the angle. So what do we do to find the measure of the angle?
Plug it in.
Plug it in. So we put it in here, plug in a 2. Put it here, plug in a 2. So 10 times 2 is, and then 20 plus the 22 is, so 42 degrees. That would be our first angle. And how about the second side? 14 times 34 is 48. And because we're also dealing with naming angles, I'm going to write my final answer as, what is the name of the measure 42?
BCA.
Yeah, the vertex always goes in the middle, so BAC equals 42, and angle CAD equals 48. And that's our final answer. 6 has one slight difference. What's the slight difference in 6?
It's supplementary.
Yeah, we're going to add up to 180 instead. Just so you know, this is that linear pair that we talked about where they make a straight line. And so you might see in a definition just, hey, these two angles are a linear pair, what do they add up to? And so we set up the same thing. If you think you've got it, see if you can finish it before me. I'm going to go ahead and solve it step by step. And so I just add the two parts to equal the whole. And this is beautiful. My 5s cancel each other out. Don't you love it when things cancel out?
Not really. It makes it more complicated.
What? It makes it simpler. I don't have to do a subtract step.
Oh, that's why.
Alright, at least one person said they beat me. Alright, I heard several people beat me there. Alright, now see if you can plug it in and get the final angle measures faster than me. You already did? You already did? What did the angles measure?
55. I did that case. And 1.
So I'm going to show the steps again for anyone who needs it. Hey guys, one talker. So after you've gotten x equals 10, if I plug that 10 in, I get 60 minus 5, which equals 55. And 120 minus 5, which equals, sorry, plus 5, 125. And then, thank you guys for pointing that out, because then we did the check step. Added together, do those equal 180? Added together, do these equal the 90? Yeah. And then let's go ahead and label our angles. So what would you call the 55-degree angle?
Angle EFH.
That's linear.
So EFH, the whole thing is linear. EFG is a linear, a straight angle. So that equals 55 degrees. And what's my second angle called?
GFH.
So GFH or HFG, either way works. Equals 125.
This stuff is low-key time. I like doing work that
One thing to note, voice. One talker means I can't continue my lesson if you guys are having a bad conversation. Okay, one thing to note is these angles can be labeled either way. They just have to have a, the vertex has to be in the middle. So that can go either way. And so these could have been HFE or GFH. You just have to make sure whatever your vertex is, the point is in the middle, but the other two letters can go in either order. Alright, then the last little section of notes is identify. So a linear pair that includes angle 1. So I'm going to do angle 1, and which angle makes a straight line?
2.
Angle 1 and angle 2. Is there a second one?
No.
Yes.
1 and 4. All right, vertical angles is another really big one. So what are some vertical angles?
1 and 3.
1 and 3. I'm going to use a plus sign for the and now to speed it up because there's a lot of these. What else? 5 and 7.
2 and 4.
2 and 4.
Verticals when they cross.
Vertical is when they're like straight across from each other. So the lines make an X and they're straight across from each other. And vertical angles always have the exact same measure. So if I'm setting up an equation and I have vertical angles, I just make them equal each other. All right, what else? There's a few others.
Would 5 and 7 be one?
No, 5 and 7 wouldn't be one. 5 and 8, yeah.
You put 5 and 7.
I'm sorry. I did. That was my mistake.
10 and 7.
10 and 7, there we go. So 10 and 7. Okay, that just got really messy. Let's try that one again. All right, any others?
6 and 9.
6 and 9. Did we get all of them now? I think we did. Okay, last one. Don't say anything, but think. Are 6 and 7 a linear pair? After you think, give me like a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or you can go medium if you have no idea what I'm talking about. But we can't move on until I see everyone doing something, so you got to give me, yes, they're a linear pair, no, they aren't, or I don't know what you're talking about. Ooh, I think almost half the class is that I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so let's check back. What is a linear, or someone tell me, what is a linear pair? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you don't like memorizing long definitions, remember this. Linear pair just makes a straight line, okay? What do straight lines measure? Mm-hmm. So the short version of this is linear pair is a straight line 180. You have to know that, okay? Because there'll be a lot of problems where you need that. Adjacent angles, short version, is just they're side by side. Vertical angles, short version, is their opposite sides of the x. I don't know if there's a short way to define that, but just if you know in your mind really clearly, they're just, you have an x of some form and they're opposite to each other. And we should have, they have the same measure as each other. Okay, and you guys know complement and supplement, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now that we've defined linear pair, check again, and I'll put up definitions again at the end if you need the whole thing. Check again, and now that we've defined it, give me the thumbs up, medium, or down if they make a linear pair, so 6 and 7 here. Alright, so we have a lot less confusion here. So 6 and 7, no, they are not a linear pair, because it's not a straight line. They are adjacent, so how would we explain that?
Not in a straight line. They don't equal 180.
Yeah. So angle 6 don't form a straight line. Alright, so that is the end of our notes. You guys have almost 50 minutes. You should get your whole online assignment done in class today.
God.
So send your Chromebook manager to get your correct Chromebook. I'll put these back up if you need them.
Oh, that's it?